welcome to Bloomberg Quint. We are continuing our conversations around the Essar Steel judgment that has just come out a few minutes ago. The Supreme Court essentially said that all commercial decisions taken by the COC cannot be challenged by the NCLT and NCLAT, especially the NCLT and the NCLAT cannot change a plan that the COC has sent forth for approval. To get a further assessment of what this means for the entire banking system as well as the Essar Steel case in specific, we have with us on the phone line the State Bank of India's Chief Financial Officer as well as Deputy Managing Director, Mr. Prashant Kumar. Mr. Kumar, on the phone line, sir, what do you see this judgment as, if not some kind of vindication of what the lenders were originally believing when they entered this case?
Yeah, exactly. I think Supreme Court has made it very clear that the decision taken by the COC would be final and binding.
Right. So in this decision, as part of this plan of 42,000 crore that is going to be paid by ArcelorMittal to the entire banking sector, how much do you think the recovery is going to pan out, especially for SBI with about 13,000 odd crore worth of outstanding dues?
So immediately I would not like to mention any numbers. Let us examine the judgment in detail, and the COC would again work out. Okay. So we need to see this, because still this is the preliminary the announcement which has been made in the Supreme Court. So let's see the judgment in detail. Then COC will take this final.
But this is obviously a big relief for the lending community.
Yeah,
one could say that, because
absolutely. I think this clarity is not only important for the present case, Essar case. It would also be very, very important for all other cases which go through the process of IBC.
Let me also get your views on the Supreme Court's assessment of timelines. The Supreme Court has said that the 330-day timeline that is being stipulated now is not a mandatory timeline, that the adjudicating authority in exceptional situations can choose to extend that. As a lender, how do you view this for the overall IBC process?
So I think it would again depend from case to case. In certain cases, when it takes a longer time, beyond 330, I think it makes sense to, instead of having a deadline of 330 days. But only thing is, like all of us in the ecosystem, we need to be very careful, and it is always in the interest of the lenders to finalize all these plans as soon as possible.
Right. There's also the idea between what is a secured financial creditor and what is an unsecured financial creditor, and whether there needs to be a difference between the two in terms of payout. To your mind, now that that has been clarified, that restores the idea of hierarchy of creditors in any case? Yeah,
I think that is a fundamental of a commercial law. And when a secured creditor is loan, definitely pricing is much less than what the unsecured creditor is. So I think this clarification is really good for the entire system.
Right. While we do not have the final judgment of the Supreme Court yet, but there was an argument made by the lenders that they should be allowed to proceed against the promoters in issue for the guarantees that they've issued in the past. That was something that the NCLAT did not allow. Do you think that is the way to recover whatever it is that you're writing off when you're selling this company to Arcelor?
I think let's first see what is the judgment in detail, and then we can comment on it.
Sure. All right, Mr. Kumar, we will, of course, stay in touch with you once the judgment is out and we have more clarity on how exactly the Supreme Court reached its verdict. That was Prashant Kumar, the CFO as well as Deputy Managing Director at State Bank of India, the largest lender in the Essar Steel case. Now, remember, they have an exposure of about 13,000 odd crore. Essar Steel as a whole owes more than 49,000 crore to the financial creditors in the system, as well as about 5,700 crore to the operational creditors. So now that the case has been approved and ArcelorMittal is going to finally take over, provided there is no other legal issue that comes in the way, then of course the lenders will get a significant chunk of their dues back. That amount will be written off against the provisions that they've made for this case. Remember, in Essar Steel, vast majority of lenders, including SBI, have made about 100% provisioning. So that part gets written back, as well as the outstanding NPA on their book comes down. That money then becomes free and is available for lenders for further lending, and thereby sort of kickstarting their ability to lend to some of the more corporate accounts. there is a bit of a slowdown as far as the corporate lending strategy is concerned. Some of the lenders have also hit the large exposure framework ceilings. But in any case, this resolution will help the lenders to go forward and give them that firepower needed for further lending. Thank you so much for joining us. We will get back with some more guests on assessing this judgment in Essar Steel. Till then, do keep watching Bloomberg Quint.